This rectangle right here controls a sixth of your life. And if that sounds creepy, it's because it is. The average person spends 4 hours a day staring at their phone.
What's your screen time?
I can't tell you that. No!
And most of the time, you're not even watching stuff you care about. If you scroll TikTok for an hour straight, do you even remember what you watched?
What are you watching over there? Are those ducks again?
No, it's PewDiePie. PewDiePie has ducks on his channel sometimes.
If it makes you happier or improves your life, that's okay, but it rarely does. Instead, you're stuck feeling drained, distracted, and kind of sick of the whole thing. But what if the solution wasn't complicated apps or self-control, but something more extreme? What if you just ditched your phone altogether? Would you feel better? Be more productive?
What do you want to get out of quitting your phone?
I would like to be more productive.
And can you even survive without a phone? The modern world isn't designed for the phoneless. You need it for restaurants, online banking, two-factor login, and a lot more. But my husband Jake actually did it. He quit his phone for 100 days. It's actually a really long time. He had no apps, no texting, no calls, no camera. So this is what happened when Jake tried to live without a phone in a world that won't let you.
So what made you want to quit your phone?
Okay, well, technically, I didn't quit it. I sort of misplaced my phone.
Misplaced.
Oh sure, he misplaced his phone in a random Target parking lot, and instead of buying a new one, he ditched it altogether. And Jake took it as a sign from the universe to see how long he could last without it. But even before losing it, he was already considering a change.
I was spending so much time on my phone that I just wanted to get my time back.
Then he proceeded to rant about everything he hates about phones. A proper TED Talk. He was sick of pulling out his phone all the time, getting sucked in, and forgetting why he opened it in the first place. He lost precious minutes or even hours throughout the day, but he wanted his time back to do things that mattered to him. I don't know if I could ditch my phone entirely, but part of me wishes life could be this simple. But can it? One thing set him off in particular.
I can't stand it when people watch TikTok on their car at green lights. Like, just get off your phone and move.
Like they're actually TikToking while driving like this.
And then I'm behind them just like,
Go!
That was the tipping point. He decided not to buy a new phone and commit to push for 100 days. And after the 100 days were over, did he switch back to a phone? In the beginning though, things were tough.
I was pretty bored, so I would reach for my phone all the time.
It was borderline unsettling. Randomly, I'd see him reach into his pocket, only to realize his phone wasn't there. Like those people who lose a limb in an accident but still feel it, but instead of a phantom limb, it's a phantom phone.
What prompted the reaching for the phone?
Anytime I was bored, or if I saw someone else grab their phone, anytime where there was like a 5-second window where I was bored, I would just be like,
It made me realize how deeply ingrained our phone habits are. Jake was worried the phantom phone would last for weeks or even months, like when people quit alcohol or drugs. Luckily, the phone pocket check thing went away after 3 or 4 days.
So, how did it feel when it finally got better?
have you ever been camping before?
Yeah, we go together.
Okay, well, I'm asking the audience.
Have you ever been camping before?
It's sort of like that when you go camping and you don't have cell reception or anything, so you just kind of forget you even have a phone, and then you get to enjoy the vacation.
At first, I thought he was exaggerating, but then he explained it's like going into nature without cell reception. At first, you're a little bit annoyed, you can't get calls or messages, you can't scroll your phone when you're bored, but then you toss your phone aside and you go have fun, like a proper vacation. He started to realize just how much mental space his phone had been taking up this entire time.
It was like my brain slowed down, but not in a bad way.
With how crazy and fast-paced everything feels all the time, it's hard to imagine slowing down and letting your brain think like that. But watching him, it was almost physical. He looked more relaxed and more focused. However, he looked bored too.
I was bored out of my mind.
I knew it. He acts like he's some kind of evolved, enlightened human now, but the reality is he's just bored. I always see him throwing around a ball or tapping his feet. Without his phone and 2 to 3 hours of screen time just gone, what else would he do with all that time? And that boredom can lead to other problems, like that time being replaced with things that might be just as distracting. But he was still riding the high of quitting.
It's kind of strange. I actually noticed I had more energy. Consuming all that content, it kind of like weighs you down. It makes you like tired. I didn't realize that it made me tired. I thought it was giving me energy because it was like
You're resting, yeah.
I saw this too. It seemed like he was more excited about everyday stuff, and that extra energy really transferred into it. I noticed he was working out more, he was sleeping a little bit more, he was feeling more rested. We'd go out and do stuff like take our daughter to the zoo, go on short trips over the weekend. This by far has been the best part for me. Without his phone around, we're more spontaneous. Any moment we'll leave the house and go do something. We're not losing all these little minutes just waiting. We're actually going and doing stuff with our time. But then he started to run into some challenges. As much as Jake's phone had been a huge distraction, it turns out that removing the phone wasn't enough. Our brains naturally look for something else to fill that gap, the space that we were using on our phone.
But I also got into RuneScape again.
Oh, yeah.
For better or for worse.
It's a good game.
It's a good game.
It's a very time-consuming game.
At first, I thought, hey, at least it's not his phone, right? But he realized if he quit his phone and just replaced it with gaming, he's not getting time back doing the things he wanted to do initially.
Once I realized this was happening, I started reading again.
The books are back.
He's one of those weird people who actually enjoys reading nonfiction, so I got him a Kindle and I loaded it with books that he likes, and I checked them out from the library. And he started spending more time reading, and he'd tell me about all the stuff he learned. It's actually really awesome because I'm like learning vicariously. But finding a replacement for his screen time is the most challenging part. Another thing that replaced his time is a strange one.
It sounds weird to say out loud, but I started thinking more. Of course, I would still think throughout the day, but now if I'm bored, I'll just take out a pen and a notebook and I'll just write notes or I'll think about something.
Sometimes I'll find him just writing notes and thinking about videos, our life goals, the progress he's making, and what we're building. It's like his brain finally has space to breathe instead of being suffocated by the endless amount of content and notifications and information. So now we have a lot more fulfilling discussions about where we want our life to be in the future and how we're gonna get there.
Okay, so there's a lot of upsides. You're reading, you're thinking, you're working out, you got energy. There's gotta be some downsides.
The most annoying was probably that I never knew what time it was.
Until I said, time for you to get a watch.
Yeah.
It's like back in the old days. People would always say that.
What did you say back to that?
I guess it is.
No, seriously, he asked me the time constantly. It got so bad, I made him a little custom watch just so he'd stop bothering me. And it was such a simple fix too. But there were bigger problems.
By far the biggest downside is not taking photos of Allie, our daughter.
Oh yeah, I can see that. We used to take so many photos of her.
Yeah, like I would take at least like 20 photos a day of her. But now that I don't have a phone, I take like 0. And that's really sad because she's growing up so quickly.
When Jake first quit his phone, we knew there would be some annoyances. But neither of us realized how tough missing the little moments with our daughter would be. Sometimes we would just scroll through photos of her when we were missing how fast she's growing up. Without a camera handy, Jake just missed things that as a parent you instinctively want to keep forever. Her running around, her laughing, her saying no. You know, the small everyday moments.
Yeah, I would say the nice part is I was actually there to experience the moments instead of being on my phone or taking photos. I feel like there's a trade-off. Like I'm more present with her, but at the same time, I don't get to capture those moments.
Yeah, like 20 years later, you don't get to look back and you're like, oh, remember when you were blah, blah, blah.
But I feel like I'll also know that I was there with her and I spent it with her. And to me, that's almost more rewarding.
Instead of capturing the memories, Jake was more present to experience it all as it happened. And it made us question what's more valuable, the perfect photo or the perfect moment. I think we all know that we're gonna grow up knowing that we spent our time with her.
So what's the biggest thing that surprised you about not having a phone? Something you didn't expect that would happen?
I would say the biggest thing is when you think about not having a phone, you think about the big stuff. Like, I'm not gonna be able to get anywhere, or like, I'm not gonna be able to talk to anyone. But really, it's a lot of little tiny things.
This was a big realization. We assume that phones are essential because they have maps, calls, texts, the internet, weather, and a ton more. But most of what we use our phone for are thousands of little micro problems. What time is it? Where's that place? I need to find a restaurant. I'm bored for 4 seconds. Instead of relying on his phone, he just started solving these problems with other tools. But what about stuff like maps? Don't you need maps?
If I had to, I could drive from Dallas to New York without a phone. So I feel like the phone doesn't solve anything big. It's just a lot of little micro problems that make it feel like it's something big.
While stuff like maps is really useful, there's nothing physically stopping you from getting to where you want to go. People got around completely fine without phones before. If you get lost, you could ask for directions. Oh, the terror. Okay, but seriously, how inconvenient is it not having a phone?
So how inconvenient is it that people can't call you now or text you now?
I would say it's more inconvenient for other people than for me. I actually sort of like it.
Are you antisocial?
I would say I'm social when I want to be social now.
Okay, that's fair.
That part caught me off guard, but it made sense. In today's day and age, everyone expects you to be reachable all the time. Friends, family, work, emails. If you didn't respond fast, it was rude. It's a societal expectation to not leave someone on red. But he wasn't being rude, he was just unreachable. And that's considered oddly weird for some reason.
I feel like before, people could reach me whenever they wanted, because with cell phones, they just expect you to reply right away. If they get left on red, they just take it as an insult. But I just don't like it when people feel entitled to my attention. I don't like always being reachable.
For Jake, this felt like a new level of control over his life and his time. Before, people could interrupt him at any moment. Now he could choose the times that they spent with him and where his attention went. And after a while, people started respecting the boundaries he had set and just worked around them, even if they were a little inconvenient, me included. People messaged him on Discord or email during work hours. The rest was silence. And honestly, it was kind of great.
What about big news?
I feel like with news, I almost don't need to consume any news. It just finds me. Like everywhere you go, people are either going to be talking about the news or it's going to be on like TVs everywhere. Like my parents will tell me, you'll tell me, even like random people will tell me for some reason.
We're so connected to the media, and there are so many ways for these networks to reach us that if something truly important happens, you still end up hearing about it, even without a phone. Sure, the small stuff slips by, like wearing the wrong clothes for the weather, or maybe you miss out on some stupid billionaire drama. But for the really big stuff, the stuff that actually will affect your life, you'll hear about it. So I'd tell him about it, his family and friends would tell him. People just love sharing stuff, the good and the bad. Not to mention, there's TVs everywhere. You pick up the news through osmosis, whether you want to or not. So it might be better not to search for it and to just let it get to you.
Okay, so you're not worried about the news, but throughout the whole journey, there must have been a time where you were like, I can't do this anymore. Was there?
There was a time.
Okay, there was a time.
There was a time when I seriously doubted if I'd be able to live without a phone for the long term. I still sort of feel that way. But concert tickets suck.
So we bought tickets to a show and he literally couldn't print them. There was no option to email them. He couldn't physically mail them. It was all on an app. But his solution was genius. He sent them to my phone and made me the ticket guy. And I hate downloading apps. So maybe I should give up my phone next.
Probably the worst part though, for real, is two-factor authenticator.
Oh yeah, because
if
they
you
send
wanna-
you codes.
Yeah, if you want to log into your bank account, you can't without a phone.
You might think the biggest problem without a phone would be something big, like calling your mom or GPS. But surprisingly, the hardest thing is two-factor authentication. Jake couldn't log into his email, his bank accounts, or even certain websites without texting codes. He literally felt locked out of his own life. So he rerouted it through me, which then drove me insane. He eventually got a better system in place, and we'll go over that soon, but stuff like two-factor makes it nearly impossible to survive in this phone-dominated world.
So other than rerouting things to my phone, there must have been other tools that helped you get rid of your phone.
I bought a lot of things because I thought I would need to replace everything I use my phone for, but I basically only use the notebook and pen and the watch that Betty got me.
So he tried a bunch of things to replace his phone. I would say he even over-prepared by a bit. He got an MP3 player for music, which he ended up not using. He got a voice recorder for notes, which also ended up not using. He mostly used a little notebook and pen to jot down ideas and to-dos and random thoughts. And he's now wearing a watch too. And I built him that one, so that's cool to see.
There's other ways to do it instead of getting rid of your phone. I don't know what they're called, but they limit the time that you can spend on the app.
I had tried those before, the things that lock you out, set time limits and stuff, but it never really worked for me. So I would set it up, but then I would need to turn it off to access something, and then eventually I just wouldn't turn it back on, and then the problem would repeat itself. I don't know if I have enough discipline to use those.
It's true. At first, the restrictions worked, and then you start to find the easiest ways to bypass the app and get that sweet, sweet dopamine from your phone. If the potato chips are in the pantry, you'll eventually eat them, whether it's in the top drawer or behind something or behind doors. App limits help for a bit, but the impulse is still there. Not having a phone altogether is like not buying junk food in the first place. You forget about it, and the mental load of always being tempted by your phone is just gone. It's the most liberating feeling, not even feeling tempted anymore.
So how do people react to you not having a phone for 100 days?
I didn't tell anyone it was a challenge except for you. I sort of just got rid of my phone and I said I was quitting it for real. I just told people I was done with my
Never
phone.
again.
Yep, no countdown, no, I'm doing a 100-day challenge, just I'm done. At first, everyone laughed and made jokes, and they were pretty sure he would buy a phone again, but he never did. By now, they've accepted that he's just the weird guy without a phone, and instead of calling him or texting him, they do it through me, which is great.
So do you think you're a better version now than before?
I would say I'm an enlightened being.
Oh, an enlightened being.
I don't know if I'm a better version of myself, but I would say I work towards my goals more and I feel like I'm on a better trajectory. I don't know.
Before, I feel like he lost a lot of random time throughout the day, and now we can pursue bigger things, like really building this YouTube channel to what we want it to be. He's also a better dad. He notices things more, he reacts quicker, he makes more eye contact. We do way more fun stuff, but it's hard to say because it's been so long. On the downside, he's also more disconnected from friends and family. He's out of the group chats. It might be a little lonely at times, but he seems completely okay with this.
So how's your social life now that people can't really contact you whenever they want?
I would say with like my direct family and some friends around me, it's gotten better, but I would say it's definitely trickier to stay into contact with people with that more casual type of conversation.
Do you have a solution for this?
I do actually. I think instead of trying to contact people, you know, like through messages or indirectly, it's better to try and schedule actual time with them because that time, it feels a lot more like you connect, I guess.
This one resonated with me a lot because nowadays it seems like most interaction happens indirectly. You send a message, they read it later, and then they reply, and the thing repeats itself. But the true hanging out time doesn't exist as much anymore. So doing real life get-togethers is a great solution. It's intentional and it means so much more than sending a text every once in a while.
What about FOMO? Is there any FOMO about not being included in group chats or?
Sometimes there is, but I feel like when I see people, they're always really excited to share stuff with me, like in real life. People just really like sharing stuff. I might not get it right when everyone else does, but I almost get a better curated feed of stuff.
He's become the offline guy that people want to show stuff to. He would just love sharing stuff and seeing your reaction. So now instead of trickling it, he gets it all in just one big time when he gets together with friends and family.
Do you think the average person could survive without a phone for 100 days?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say I survived because I'm like better than anyone. I would just say that I have a very particular job, like we have the YouTube channel, so I don't think a normal person could do this because most people have a job where they have to have a phone for some reason.
Yeah, let's be real. Some people need their phone for work, but even then you can carve out sacred time. I would try setting one simple rule, like no phone after 6 p.m. But Jake was still struggling with two-factor logins, text verification, tickets. He still needed a phone, and I was tired of him constantly asking me for codes and for my phone. It was like the entire world was determined to force him back to using a phone.
You don't think you're necessarily a better person now without your phone, but do you like this you better than previous you?
Yes, I feel like part of it comes from not being distracted by my phone or even having the impulse to check it. It's so freeing, I guess, and it creates so much more mental bandwidth to focus on things that I actually care about.
Finally, he had broken free from the endless scrolling and wasting time. He was sleeping better, spending more quality time with everyone, and genuinely, I think he was happier with it. So going back to a phone felt like giving up on this new version of himself that he had built. So Jake came up with a solution, and that solution is a bit weird.
If you want to see my solution, it's this.
It's a very tiny phone.
It's a very baby phone. It still does what a normal phone would do, but it's horrible. Like, it's actually horrible to do anything. Like, to text, to call.
Have you tried watching shorts on the phone?
I tried opening YouTube and I clicked on a video and it crashed immediately.
We bought this small phone for a video idea a while back, but we ended up scrapping the idea, so now he's claimed the phone for himself. And the reason the tiny phone worked when everything else failed was simple. Self-control alone just isn't enough. App restrictions or screen limits are too easy to bypass. Jake needed something physically uncomfortable and awkward, something he wouldn't want to use unless absolutely necessary. And this tiny phone was exactly that, a hilarious physical barrier between him and endless scrolling.
Yeah, it's silly looking.
I feel like there's some societal shame of like taking out this phone because I'm like I don't want people to see me using this.
It does everything a phone does. It calls, texts, two-factor, but it's intentionally a horrible phone to use.
I hate using it, but I like that I hate using it.
The phone is cute, but I tried it and it doesn't even play a YouTube video properly without crashing. Even though it can have all the distracting apps, they just don't work in the way that would get you addicted. So if you've ever cut back, or if you've ever thought of cutting back on your phone, even just for a weekend, we'd love to hear how it goes. And if you want to see Jake test out minimalist tech, dumb phones, or restricted smartphones, let us know down below. Thanks for watching. Now go do something without your phone.
Any last words for the people from your enlightened beingship?
Phone bad.
That's it?
Phone is bad.
Nuance asterisk phone is bad except...
No, phone is bad.